there, Sandi MacIver here. Hope you're having a great week and welcome back. Today I'm sharing a pop-up card kit, and it's created by the Paper Cut, and all of these pieces are cut and scored for you out of high quality cardstock. All you have to do is embellishment. They're just awesome. There's a link under my video here. And I didn't have any pattern paper, so I got out my Concord 9th Polka Dot Turnabout, and I created all of this paper for my project today using Gina inks, and I share all of the decals, the colors, etc. in the PDF that's on my blog. Once you get all your pieces cut, I got all my mats and all my pattern paper cut, then you're going to take your adhesive and attach them all together. And then once you get all of them attached together, you're going to attach them to the actual pop-up card base. Just like that. And here's what it looks like with everything attached. You'll notice that both sides look the same. The very, very back of the card is going to be clear, nothing on it. And this is going to be the inside back. And I'm going to use a couple of snowflakes from this other stamp set to help me out here. This is called Warm and Feathered Hugs, and I'm grabbing 2 of the little snowflakes. I'm going to use my VersaMark, and I'm going to stamp those randomly across the top back section of my card piece, cover it with white embossing powder, shake off the excess, and heat it with my heat tool. Next, I'm going to use a couple of Distress Oxides to do my background. These are Peacock Feather and Tumbled Glass. And you'll see I'm using the blending tools. I'm going in the center with a lighter color and around the edge with a darker color. Your fingers will leave fingerprints on this ink. That's why I grabbed a Kleenex so that I had something to hold on to while I'm finishing the other side. And you can see the bottom back of the inside of the card if you're looking right down. So I like to have a finished appearance in there. That's why I'm doing the entire thing. And then when I'm finished, I'm just going to take that Kleenex and I'm going to wipe the ink off of the little snowflakes, and this is called the resist technique. To add a little more background detail, I'm going to use my white gel pen and add some little dots to make it look like it's snowing. Just some added interest for the background. I did splatter this with a little bit of water too, so you can see those little blotchy marks in there. I adhered that piece to the mat, and now I'm going to put it on the inside of the card. And fair warning, it's easier to put these pieces on before you put this final tab around on this pop-up card. And so on the tab, we're going to take some really strong adhesive. This is tear and tape, and you want to put one as close as you can to the fold, and then the second one as close as you can to the outside edge. If you burnish this down a little bit, it makes it easier to peel off the protective cover. And then flip your card back over to the good side, fold the tab in and close the card, and it should line up perfectly. And then voila, there's a nice fold there, and there's the beginning of the box. Next, we're going to take these 2 pieces and we're going to put them inside, and I'm going to use the Gina Connect glue to do that. So I'm putting glue just on the end of the tabs and popping it in, one near the back and then one closer to the front. And I like to use the white glue because it gives me a little bit of fiddle room just in case I don't get it exactly where I want it. Otherwise, I would probably have used glue dots, but I like being able to move these around a little bit before they finally set. Next, I die cut some snowbanks for my little doggies, and I use the Simon Says Stitch Slopes. However, my favorite things also has one called Stitched Basic Edges. I just don't own it yet, so that's why I'm using this one. So again, I put some more white glue just on those crossbars and added my snowbanks. Cut them down to size. It was 3 3/4 I cut them. And then I'm just popping that extra piece on there, and that gives me my little snowbanks for my little doggies, which means I can elevate them a little higher. Now it's time to do the doggies. I'm putting a piece of Nina cardstock into my Misty, and I'm going to stamp with my Memento black ink because it is Copic safe, and I did all my coloring with Copic markers, and I share each of the numbers of what I use again in the PDF that you can download from my blog. And there's also coordinating dies to cut all these little guys out. I started with 3, and by the time I got all 3 of them loaded on here, I decided I wanted one more. So at the end, you'll see me bring in another doggy. And for the most part, I'm using glue dots because they're nice and strong and they're easy to get these guys in here, especially when you actually get both of them on the back. And for that little doggy, I wanted him to pop up a little bit, so I added a couple pieces of foam tape to the back of him. And then one of them was kind of sticking up, and it would stick to the back if I closed the card. So just snip a little piece of cardstock and put it on the back to hide that sticky so that you can open and close your card without any difficulties. And here's where I added my fourth little guy. I just decided that it needed a little brown dog in there. For my sentiments, I'm using this Joy die, and I die cut it 3 times, and I'm going to stack them. So just add a little bit of glue and then add your next layer. And you kind of have to fuss with them a little bit. Again, it's nice to use this glue because you do have a couple seconds to do that. Make sure that they're lined up correctly and add that 3rd layer. And then the pain in the behind was those little dots for the top of the J. They're so small, there's nothing to hold on to layer them. Anyway, I did master it. It took a little bit, and I think I may have cut this a little bit short just so you didn't see my frustration in trying to glue those 3 together. I did eventually get it done. Okay, I didn't cut this off. I am showing you the frustration of it all. I white heat embossed the other sentiment down the bottom edge of a piece of black. I like to do that because then I can just use my paper cutter to snip it off exactly where I want it, and I get 2 sections out of that. And then I decide that one of them is a little bit too long, and I slice off another word. So you'll see me moving these around a little bit, deciding where I want them. That's not where I wanted that one. So I see. Now I'm cutting it off. I'm going to add a little bit of foam tape to the back of the black pieces, and then I put it on crooked, so I had to tear it off and put it on straight. A little bit more white glue onto my triple sentiment there, attaching that to the front, and then I put this nice little dot in there. And then I decided at the last minute to add those little pieces up there, and I liked it because it balanced off the black. And there you go, the card's all finished. You'll see that it lays flat for shipping or mailing to someone, and then it pops up with all these cute little guys inside here. I have a full PDF and a list of all the products that I used over on my blog. The link is underneath the video, and thank you so much for stopping in and visiting with me today. Happy stamping!